Well, alrighty then. I'm here. This is my second video, discussing Emma and what has gone on, what I have thought about it, and a lot of Jane Austen style. So, for this one, it's chapters 4 to 10. No, yeah, 4 to 9. And a lot of stuff that happened in this chapter is a lot of towards Emma's influence, how she's not really changing yet as a character, and it's really getting annoying. Okay, so it starts off as showing Emma's still unimpressed with Harriet's intelligence, but appreciates her willingness to be guided. It's more like her being naive and being able to be manipulated. Well, while learning about what Harriet's background, she realized she visited the Martin family, which in Emma's case are inferior to Harriet. So when she realizes there's an eligible bachelor there, she gets really mad. She seems to be really controlling a lot. And then, so she makes it a lot that, like, she's like, okay, when they run into Mr. Martin, Emma is just like, okay, Harriet, how does his manners compare to any other gentleman? So as this is crappy, but as it goes on, in the next chapter over, which would be chapter 5, we get to have a conversation between the new Mrs. Weston and Mr. Knightley. Knightley believes that the friendship is dangerous, mostly because Harriet's flattery will just make Emma more self-regard herself, and she'll think more of herself. She'll think of herself as a higher person, which we don't want that to happen. And then it's bad for Harriet, because Harriet is just gonna think, oh no, I'm only good with people who are in the same stature as me, or someone higher, which is actually bad, because then you're not liking someone just to like them. And then something I actually like, and it was said by Mr. Knightley during the conversations. It was he comments that she should like that he should like to see Emma in love, and in some doubt of return, it would do her good. And it would, because then she wouldn't be focused on herself. She would have someone else to focus on, maybe shift everything, which is actually be good. It'll make her a more dynamic character, because at the moment she's pretty stagnant actually. So we see and I really like how Jane Austen, like, she emphasizes a lot of how characters feel. She puts like her own emphasis, and then it's like her saying her own views towards the guys. Like, honestly, I don't think she played herself as Emma. She's more of like, even though it's a guy, I think she played herself as Mr. Knightley. Okay, so as it goes on, it is apparent that Harriet is sent a letter being proposed by Mr. Martin, and lo and behold, she goes to Emma for a decision, which is bad, because Emma's just deciding everything for her, and it makes it worse for Harriet, because then she doesn't know how to make decisions on her own. And then a lot of it she actually became really rude with it, because Harriet didn't know her decision right away. Emma was like, oh, you would have just said no right away. She actually goes to tell Harriet, I shall not give you any advice, Harriet. This is a point which you must settle with your own feelings. And it's more of a disregard for Harriet. Not so much that she's actually being like, oh, I'm going to set you free and be on your own. It's more of Emma saying, you didn't listen to me, so I'm pissed off at you. I'm just going to let you deal with it. Ow. And then with the confrontation with Mr. Knightley, you get him saying, you have been, and I quote, you have been no friend to Harriet Smith. It's really sad, because like, she's thinking she's being a friend when actually she's just controlling every little aspect of her life. And then like that can be a lot. Emma at the moment is still compared to Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice a lot because she's controlling more of it, and she's like, oh no, you have to push. She's pushing these ideas. She's like, go do this, do this, do this, do this, which is really getting annoying in the book. And then Mr. Knightley, he's just being that like realistic view guy. He's just like, or he's being more realistic. He's just like, look, just let her think of her own path. Don't make her decisions for her, which is really bad. She still focuses on putting Harry and Mr. Elton together. So when he actually comes back and they're actually doing riddles or charades, he puts one in and but he puts it on Emma's book, and it comes out the answer to be courtship, which would lead to proposal, which would lead to marriage. So Emma's thinking, oh yeah, this is for Harriet. I don't think that, because a lot of what happened before when they were doing the painting, it was just like, oh, I think he's focusing that he doesn't like Harriet, thinks she's a nice girl, doesn't like her at all. And that's why I like how Austen uses it. She doesn't bring everything straightforward. She makes you work around it, and then it leads to something else. Like, this is actually being helped. But what's different about Emma is that was straightforward. You could practically realize in a way that I was like, if he was gonna put for courtship for Harriet, he would have put in her book. But no, Emma went to put in her book just to make it seem like it. And then it was just like, Emma's like, oh, Mr. Elton, I found your answer, and she saw that he was clearly moved, but she thought it was just like, oh yay, you're gonna propose to Harriet, but she doesn't think it through. I think Jane Austen has a really good, like, her style is really apparent now, especially I would think a lot of theme is to have like less thought towards oneself. Don't be so selfish. That's what I think, and I'm done.